While the exterior of the Eustis estate was designed in an old-fashioned style, the interiors were actually extremely modern for the time. They were designed in what's known as the aesthetic movement style, which was popularized by the Centennial Exhibition in 1876 in Philadelphia, when the English arts and crafts movement designers like William Morris displayed some of their work, as well as displays of houses and design from around the world. And American designers and artists at the time really picked up on all of these ideas and created their own version of this style, which is referred to as the aesthetic movement. It is very influenced by nature and natural motifs. You see a lot of natural color schemes, birds, flowers, trees, that kind of thing. You also have a strong influence from cultures around the world. So especially the arts of Japan and China, but also places in the Islamic world, medieval Europe, colonial America. All of these things are being combined together to create a unique style. There's also a lot of influence from the advancing technologies of the time that really changed the way the architecture is reflected in the houses like the Eustis estate. The large central hall, for example, is something that becomes a hallmark of Emerson's designs, and it was something that would have felt very different to the New Englanders of the time. This room, the parlor, is a great example of all of these elements of the aesthetic movement style. You can see the natural color schemes here. The woodwork on the fireplace has these beautiful floral motifs. You have tiles from different cultures. You have examples of the sort of influence of nature in the painting techniques on the walls and the ceilings. So all of these elements are being combined in almost every room in the house in a really unique and fresh way. Another important thing is the way that the house is sort of a conversation with the landscape. And you see that in the design of the property. The way the house is situated on the landscape takes advantage of the way the sun moves around during the day, the way that the picture windows are framing different aspects of the landscape. All of this is very intentional to create this kind of back and forth with the interior and the exterior of the house. What makes this house so important to historic New England and as a really classic example of this style is that most of the work done on the house was done by Boston or local New England craftsmen and firms. Some of the most important examples are the tiles that were made by John Gardner Lowe, the Lowe Art Tile Company in Chelsea, Massachusetts. The paint work in the house was done by Haberstroh and Sons Company, which had really incredible, unique examples of treatments of the walls, amber clouds like you see in the parlor, or a glittering dining room, or a rich Pompeian red like you see in the living hall. All of these things are done by hand, painted almost like a canvas and built up in layers. There's no wallpaper in the house. All of the decorative things are done with paint and plaster. The stained glass throughout the house was done by William J. McPherson and his company, which was a prominent stained glass manufacturer at the time, and really they were artists. And you see really beautiful examples in the doors, in these large semicircular windows at the top of the house on the third floor, and also in small insets in built-in furniture throughout the house. This is really a complete work. So this was envisioned not as just an empty shell that you then go in and decorate yourself the way that most houses are today, but it was all designed as one cohesive work of art, really. So every room, all of the elements tie together and would have been selected with that in mind, with this kind of overall design concept.